One of the questions I get all the time is why did I stop playing professional basketball? Even when I tell people I'm like a founder now and I'm building this, it's like, why'd you stop playing basketball? And of course the first question is, did you play basketball? And I did play basketball. I played basketball at the professional level for 5 years. Mm, Probably minus a little bit of time because there was a moment in there where I was injured and I couldn't play. Not very long, but I couldn't play. But anyway, I stopped playing basketball because it wasn't my passion. Like, it's the simple answers, and I tell people this all the time, but when people hear it, they always struggle to believe it. Now, I think it's people projecting the fact that it in their heads, like, if they could have played basketball, and I also think they're, thinking that, like, playing basketball is equal to being in the NBA. I wasn't in the NBA, I played overseas. I never made a lot of money from basketball, if I'm telling you the truth. I don't think most, professional athletes do make a lot of money, in all actuality. I think there is a minority of us that make a whole lot of money, and those are the people that people usually think about when they hear and you say something like, "I play professional ball." Now, don't I'm not gonna say there's not players out there that's making cool money. Like, there's some players that's making cool little money. They making a good little bag, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K a month. Now, granted, to understand how that works is you're only making that during the time you're actually playing. So while you're in season, which is usually 5, 7, 8 months, depending on the league, but usually you talking about somewhere 5 to 7 months. So you're only making that, and so basically whatever you're making, you just need to have it because you still have stuff that you need to pay for when you get back home, and sometimes stuff you got to pay while even you're away. So anyway, my simple answer is it wasn't my passion. I've like most of y'all have heard, I've been 6'8" since I was 14. So I've been very tall since a kid. And I will tell you, being a 6'8" black kid, everybody, and this is not like just black people or just white people. Everybody told me I should play basketball. Like, I had people saying stuff like, "If you don't play basketball, it's a waste of time," or "You better use that height. You better use that gift God gave you to get out there on them courts." All kind of stuff that, like, just basically instead of like them trying to figure out what I actually want to do with my life, everybody sort of pushed me towards sports. They pushed me towards basketball in particular. But there was other sports people recommended as well. Like, they wanted me to run track. They wanted me to play football. Like, these things because it's like they see this height and they're like, "Oh, he has to play basketball." Like, almost in a way, like, I know they don't mean it derogatory, but it's like it's almost in this way of like, you think that's the only thing I could be good at in my life, or you think that's the best thing I could be in my life. You don't see me as anything but some type of athlete. You don't try to find out if I'm smart, if I'm intellectual. Like, how do you know if I could be like the next scientist to have a breaking discovery in whatever field? Nobody really cared to find out about that stuff. And as a young kid, I wanted to fit in so bad. Like, I think I've told a few stories, maybe not all of them, about as a child how I stood out so much, and all I really ever wanted to do was fit in. And so basketball was like the first chance for me to fit in. Like, truly, if I'm telling the truth, like, basketball was the first time that like I kind of had a community of people outside of my family where I seemed like I was part of something. Now, I'll tell you this: I was always a part of my teams, but I was always so much different still. I was always kind of like weird. Like, even in college, I was walking around campus with like with a Game Boy playing the game. My teammates was making fun of me and like everybody else was making fun of me. And it's like that's just who I am. Like, I'm kind of nerdy. Like, I'm really nerdy, like at heart. Like that's just the type of person I am. Like, and a lot of people never understood. Like, when my teammates would want to go get on the court to practice or get shots up, bruh, I didn't want to go. I was trying to play the game. Like, my best friend today can tell you. They be like, "Yo, Ty, you trying to go get up some shots?" No, I'm trying to play the game. I'm getting on the Xbox. Like, I'm not interested in going to get up extra shots. And it was really my athleticism. If I'm being truthful with you, what took me so far was really being tall and being athletic. Like, it wasn't just being tall alone. It was like I was really, really athletic. And I didn't have a lot of skill, but I got skill over time. By the time I got to college, I didn't have much skill, but when I got to college, definitely got some skill ingrained into me because like in college they put you through routines that's crazy, like your practice routine, strength and conditioning, all this stuff. Like, you're going to get some type of skill, and so by the time I got to the pro level, I had some skill, but it wasn't like I was crazy skilled. And then at the professional level, I started doing a little more workouts on my own and practice on my own, but again, it still was not my passion. And so after 5 years of playing and not really seeing the success I wanted to, I had a call with this lady who was like a business consultant. And she ended up telling me, like, okay, she was like, she's listening to me as I talk about business. And in that time, I wasn't talking about the company I have now. I was talking about something else I was doing. But I was just telling her how I love business strategy of it, all this stuff. And she was like, it doesn't sound like basketball is your passion. And in that moment, that day, I was awakened to the fact that, like, the reason I started playing basketball and I realized, like, dang, you weren't ever really passionate about this. It was really just to fit in, and you end up doing it so long that you forgot. And I kid you not, on that day I quit. That same day, it did like after I got off that phone, I had a good talk with myself and I quit. Everybody who reached out to me about contracts, coming to play places, I was like, no, I'm done. Like I didn't even know where I was going. Like I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I knew I wanted to start business and do certain stuff. I didn't know exactly how I was gonna go about doing it, but I was like, I'm not gonna keep going with basketball because it's just not my passion. It doesn't make any more sense for me to do it. Now I won't lie, it was a little bit of a struggle afterwards because it was transitioning to like regular life, and then it was like trying to figure out what I was gonna do to make money, especially after just quitting like playing basketball. And like it was also having to talk to people who knew me as a basketball player and them trying to adjust to the fact that I just quit the thing that they thought I should have been. And for what? To go do something that I didn't even know what I was going to do. So there was a lot about it. But the short answer is I wasn't passionate about basketball. Like I know I always give y'all long answers. I just wasn't passionate about it. And so that's what makes it so hard for me now to do anything I'm not passionate about. Is because like, bruh, I could have just stayed with basketball if I was going to go do something that I'm not passionate about now. So building this company, I'm super passionate. Like y'all don't understand. I love what I do. I sleep, I dream about it, I wake up, I think about it, I get on the computer, I work on it some more. Like I love what I do. The only thing that like takes my mind away from my company is when I trade. Cause I also love trading. Well, also like if I watch anime and play games, those also take my mind off it because I love those things too. But if I'm not doing something I love, my mind is more than likely on the company and thinking about things I can do. So anyway, a long answer that could have been short. I just wasn't passionate about basketball. Y'all have a good day.